Namaste students. Kushra Vidya, I JVWU, Dr.Y.Chandrakala, Assistant Professor Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In today's session, we are going to discuss about the concept of ecology. Ecology is the study of interaction among the organism or the group of organisms with their environment. The environment consists of biotic and abiotic components. Biotic are the living organisms, abiotic are the non-living organisms. Ecology is the study of ecosystem. Okay? Ecosystem is the basic functional unit of ecology, and the term ecosystem is coined by Greek word that is study of the whole. Okay? So we can define it as a group of organisms interacting among themselves and with the environment, and is known to the ecosystem. Thus, an ecosystem is community of different species interacting with one another with their non-living environment, okay? And one another with their non-living environment, exchanging the energy and matter. For example, animals cannot synthesize their food so directly, but they depend on plant directly or indirectly. Okay? So the natural, we can say the types of ecosystem, that is natural ecosystem that operate themselves under the natural condition. Terrestrial ecosystem, these are related to the land, for example, grassland ecosystem, forest ecosystem, desert ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem, these ecosystems are related to water, and further it is subdivided into freshwater ecosystem, that is running water or river or a stream, or a standing ecosystem, that is a pond or a lake. Marine ecosystems are the sea and the seashores. Okay, man-made artificial ecosystems are operated or made by themselves. For example, cropland or a garden, okay, or a lawn. Structure, or we can say the components of the ecosystems are the biotic and the abiotic components. Okay, so biotic components are the living organisms collectively. Okay, the plant, producer, animals, and microorganisms. Plants are the producers, animals are the consumers, and microorganisms are the decomposers. Okay. So producers are autotrophic, they synthesize their own food. Okay, all green plants or trees like photosynthesis or the green pigments are present called chlorophyll present in the plants, which convert carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight into carbohydrate, and the process is called photosynthesis. Okay. So the consumers are the heterotrophic like insects, rabbit, goat, deer, cow, which depends upon plants for their food. The primary consumers are the herbivores, they are the plant eaters. Okay. So the primary consumers are called herbivores, they directly depend on the plants for their food, and they are called plant eaters. Secondary consumers are the meat eater or primary carnivores. The secondary consumers are primary carnivores, they feed on the primary consumers. Frog, cat, snakes, fox, etc. Tertiary consumers are the secondary carnivores. Okay, so they depend on the primary carnivores for their food. Decomposers are microorganisms, bacteria, fungi, which depends upon the dead organisms for their food. Okay. So abiotic components like physical factors, climate, soil, water, air, nutrient. Okay. The function of ecosystem is to understand clearly the nature of ecosystem and its functioning throughout. Okay. So the flow of energy and the nutrient cycle. So the type of functions are like primary functions. Primary functions of the ecosystem is to manufacture of the starch, that is through photosynthesis, and the secondary function is to for the distribution of energy in the form of food to all consumers. Tertiary functions are energy and the material flow, food chain, food web, and the primary food pyramid. Okay. Energy flow in the ecosystem, that is which is very essential. Okay, the solar energy is only source for with our planet Earth. Solar energy is transformed to chemical energy by photosynthesis by plants. Okay, and 1% of which falls on the plant for photosynthesis. They utilize as a photosynthesis. Okay. So energy flow is like through two laws. Like first law of thermodynamics, that energy can be created but not be destroyed. It can transform from one form to another form. So we can illustrate it like this. Energy of an ecosystem comes from the sun. It is absorbed by the plant and it's converted into a stored chemical energy, and later which is converted into a chemical energy. And second law of thermodynamics, which states that whatever energy is transformed there, it is lost. It is the loss of energy through the release of heat. Okay? So this occurs when the transfer of through tropical levels, the loss of energy is about 80 to 90%. Okay. So when we see the relationship between the structure and the function of the flow model, the nutrient flow or the nutrient cycle, or we can call it as a biogeochemical cycle. So the nutrient, the element which the essential for the survival of both the plants and the animals is called the nutrient. Micronutrients are the needed in a large amount, macronutrients, and that is oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, phosphorus, and micronutrients in small traces like cobalt, boron, zinc, copper. Okay, so nutrient cycle is the flow of energy between the biotic and abiotic component and is called nutrient cycle or biogeochemical cycle. The nutrient enters into the producers and move out in the food chain through each consumers, and the bound nutrient of the consumer after death is decomposed and converted into inorganic substance. The major nutrients like carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen cycle. Okay. So the hydrological cycles is the movement of water in a cyclic manner. Carbon cycle, the carbon is basically the component of all the organic compounds and present in all biotic components in different form as a food. Okay. So the carbon, protein, fat, amino acid, or it is present in the atmosphere in the carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide taken up by the green plant as a raw material for photosynthesis in different food. So this food moves through the food chain. Finally, the carbon present in the dead matter is returned to the carbon dioxide by the microorganism. Okay. So the source of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is during respiration. Plants and animals liberate carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Combustion of fuels also release carbon dioxide. Okay. So the nitrogen uh, uh, is present in the atmosphere as N2. Okay, in large amount. So the that is 78%. Okay. Protein, vitamin, amino acid, etc. are the examples of where nitrogen is present. So nitrogen from the atmosphere is taken up by the grain plant as a raw material for biosynthesis of different food. Okay, which is converted or decomposed. The food moves to the food chain, and after death of the living organisms, the organic matters in the dead tissues is decomposed by the microorganism, ammonifying and nitrifying bacteria into ammonia, nitrite, and nitrate. Okay, which again converts into the molecular nitrogen and released to the atmosphere as a cyclic form. Nitrification, conversion of ammonia into nitrite, and is termed as nitrification by nitrosomonas and nitrobacteria. Okay. Denitrification is the conversion of nitrite into nitrogen and through pseudomonas. Okay. Phosphorus cycle is mainly present in the rock and fossils, and the phosphorus is present in all biotic components of different forms, bone, steel, deposited. Okay. Phosphate rock evacuated by the man by used as fertilizers, or the farmers use excessive fertilizer in the crop, which again run off water, reaches to the water aquatic system, sea, water, and again it enters into the ecosystem by cycling form by the biosynthesis. Okay. Ecological succession is the area where one community is replaced by the another community or by series of communities. Thus, the progressive replacement of one community by another community till the development of the stable community in a particular area is called ecological succession. So, it can have a different ecological succession state, that is pioneer community, the first group organism which established their community, and it's called pioneer community. Okay. And the typical ecological succession like primary succession and secondary succession. Primary succession, it involves a gradual establishment of the biotic community, okay, hydrarch and hydrosphere, okay. And secondary succession, the process of ecological succession is nudation. It is the development of the bare area without any life form, or invasion, establishment, competition, and reaction and stabilization. Okay. Food chain, it is the sequence of eating of being or being eaten by any organism in an ecosystem. Transfer of energy from plant through a series of organisms is also called as food chain. Okay. When the organism die, they are decomposed by the microorganisms, that is bacteria and fungi, into the nutrient, and they again being used by the plant. Okay. So at each and every transfer, 80 to 90% of the potential energy get lost as heat. So food chain always starts with the plant and ends with the animal. So herbivorous, they eat on the plants. Carnivorous, they eat animals. Food web is the interlocking pattern of the various food chain in an ecosystem and is known as food web. Okay. So the significance of food chain and food web are: food chain and food web plays important role, like nutrient, energy flow and nutrient cycling take place through them, and they regulate the population size of different tropical level in ecological balance. They have the property of biomagnification, and the non-biodegradable material get on passed into the one tropical level to the other. And the successive tropical level concentration keep on increasing, and this is biomagnification. Okay. Ecological pyramid, the graphical representation of the structure and function of the tropical level of an ecosystem, starts with the producer at the bottom, and each successive tropical level forms the apex. Okay, that is ecological pyramid. In food chain, starts with the producer to the consumer, and their regular decrease in the property. Okay. Ecosystem pyramid have pyramid of number, pyramid of energy, and pyramid of biomass. Pyramid of number can be used to show the number of organisms at each stage of the food chain. Pyramid of biomass is the energy moves from one tropical level to the next, so the energy moves from oak to the caterpillar, or we can say it is from lower to the higher. The energy is lost at each stage due to the loss of the environmental by respiration. So pyramid of biomass, it represents the total amount of biomass present in each tropical level. Forest ecosystem is one of the ecosystem in which the tall trees grow, supports animals and birds. Okay. Types of forest ecosystem, that is rainforest ecosystem, tropical deciduous forest, tropical scrub forest, temperate rainforest. Okay. In characteristic of ecoforest is it is characterized by warm temperature and adequate rain. Generates number of ponds and lakes. Forest maintain climatic and rainforest. It supports many wild animals and protective biodiversity. Soil is rich in the organic matter. Okay. Grassland ecosystems, it covers 20% of the additional grasslands, and typical grassland ecosystems is of three types: tropical grasslands and temperate grassland and polar grassland. Okay. So the tropical grasslands, they are found near the border and are tropical rainforest and characterized by the high temperature and the moderate rainfalls. It also known as the savanna tribe. Typical temperate grasslands are usually found in the center of the continent and oil slope hills. Okay. So polar grasslands, they are found in the Arctic polar region and they are characterized by the severe cold and strong wind. Desert ecosystem is about 35% of the world is land area, and tropical it is the type of ecosystem where the tropical desert, temperate desert and cold desert. Okay. Tropical desert we can see in Sahara and Thar desert. Temperate are in California. Cold desert in China, Gobi desert. Okay. Characteristic is the desert air is dry and climate is hot. Annual rainfall is less than 25 centimeters. The soil is very poor in nutrients. Okay. Thank you. This session is powered by 2.0 Jyoti Vidyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. If you have any queries, please write down in the comment box. I will resolve it in the problem solving session. Thank you.